All right, on 7.6, we are solving radical and rational exponent equations. And anytime we solve, our goal is to isolate the radical and exponent so that we can solve for the variable. But one thing you have to make sure you do is you must check your solutions. Alright, so we have x to the 1/3 minus 2/5 is 0. So I want to isolate it. I'm going to add over the 2/5. Well, in order to get rid of a third, we would raise it to the third power, because remember this is actually a cube root. And the way you get rid of a cube root is to cube it, so that means the same thing. Cube both sides. So x is 8 1/25. 3x plus 1 to the 4/3 is 48. So first thing, divide out the 3. We get x plus 1 4/3 is 16. Now, to get rid of 4/3, just like over here, we have to get rid of it. We could consider this also a reciprocal. And that's the best way to approach it, is to reciprocate it. So the powers go away, leaves x plus 1. And 16 to the 3/4. Well, I need to simplify that. That's the 4th root of 16 cubed. 4th root of 16 is 2, cubed is 8. Subtract it over, x is 7. Check them. If you put this in, the cube root of 8/25 is 2/5, so that works. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 to the 4/3 is 2 to the 4th is 16 times 3 is 48. Square root of x equals 1/9. These are the ones that we have to really check. It's the exponent ones you'll be okay with. It's when we square root that we really need to make sure that we're checking on these next few problems here. So here I'm going to be squaring both sides. So x is 181. If I put in 181, the square root of 1 is 1, square root of 81 is 9. Okay, so here we have more steps. -2, 5th root, (2x minus 1 plus 4 is 0. I want to isolate my radical. So I'm going to move the 4 over. I'm going to divide by the -2. And now the 5th root means I got to take the 5th power. 2 to the 5th is 32. Add it over, and we get 33/2. Put it back in and check it. 33/2 minus 1 plus 4. Well, that's 33 minus 1 is 32. 5th root of 32 is 2. Minus 2 and 2 is 4. Minus 4. Minus 4 plus 4 is 0. Checks. Next one. Square root of 2x plus 1/6 equals x plus 5/6. Be careful with this one. I do have to square, but I have to square both sides. And when I square both sides, this now becomes a binomial that I have to do twice. So here I get 2x plus 1 6, but I get x squared plus 10 6x, and I just didn't reduce it, plus 25 36. Because it's a square, I have to try to set it equal to 0. So I get x squared. When I subtract 2x, well, that's the same as 12 6. So I get negative 2 6x. And minus 1 6, so that's 6 36, which is 19 36. At this point, I am at quadratic formula, something, you know, of that nature. I'd probably multiply everything by 36. So I'm only dealing with whole numbers. 36 goes away, multiply, it becomes a 6, so 12, that becomes a 36. And now I'm at quadratic formula. Opposite of b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And do some calculations, but what you end up finding out is that, just to make sure here, times 36 times 19, is that it comes out to be a negative number. And we can't do that. So there'd be no solution. But it is possible you might have to use the quadratic formula in order to solve these down and fill them out. One more. Square root of x minus 6 minus 1/3 x. Add over the 1/3 x. Square both sides. Move over the 1/3. Move over the 6. Multiply by the reciprocal. What do we get here? 9. Double check it. 9 minus 6 minus 1/3 times 9 is the square root of 3 minus the square root of 3, which is 0. And that checks. This one you're going to have to do with a calculator. We could do it by hand. If we do it by hand, we're going to add over. We're going to divide by the 2. We're going to take it to the 5 halves. 9 to the 5 halves is the square root of 9/5. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 to the 5th power. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Three to the 5th power is 243. And subtract 19. So x is 224. Now, to use your calculator though, what we do is we take the left-hand side, put it in y equals. So I get 2 parenthesis x plus 19 to the 2/5. Make sure you're using parentheses in all the proper places. Oops. So 2x plus 19. X plus 19 is to the 2/5 minus 1. And then on the second line, we're going to put 17. We're going to graph it. If we don't see something, we're going to have to change our windows around. So I'm going to change my windows to, because if I haven't worked it out, I don't know my answers. So I'm going to say negative 100 to positive 100 by tens. And I'm going to see if I can't find an interchange. Okay, so I know I only need to go up to 17, so I'm going to change my Y window from 0 to 20 by 2s. And it looked like my X's I couldn't quite see. I didn't need to go negatively, so I'm going to go 0. I'm going to go 300 by 30s. My goal is I want to see where these equal one another. I want to see that intersection. So I have to keep changing my window to get to where it is. Then I get to do second, calculate, intersect. The calculator is going to ask you a question. Is this the first line? You hit enter. Then it says the spider jumps and it says, is this the second line? You hit enter. Are you sure? And you hit enter. And it's going to jump to that point of 224, which is what we found by hand. So all of these that we did, we could make them y1 and y2, graph them, and find their intersection. And I can do that on all of them.